Hello YouTube. So today is a very special day. I'm going to be doing a review on a watch that I got when I was transiting through London. I was coming back from India to the US and I got a chance to pick up this really beautiful watch. So it's a Rolex, and so so it was a case of me, finding myself at the right place at the right time. So when I was traveling, actually, thanks to Brexit, the pound was really weak, and the prices were really low, and I was able to get this Rolex for around say £3,000. I think it's a very good deal, and it was also tax free and duty free. So I think I was really lucky. I got my watch from the Watches of Switzerland. It's a Rolex authorized dealer found inside the airport. They're found in Terminal 5 of London Heathrow Airport. Yep. So I got my watch for around £3,000, and based on the conversion, it was 3,664.44. I guess that's pretty good, considering the fact that these watches usually say, like, even the lowest end watch, it kind of retails for $5,000 in the States. Okay, so let me show you the box in which the watch came next. Yep. So this is the box cover in which the Rolex watch comes. It's got that Rolex crown on it. Pretty fancy, I should say. And this box has another box, green in color, beautiful green, gold, say Rolex crown on top. So cool. Inside the box, you have this thing where you have your warranty card and all the other service manual and all that stuff. So I just took those out and I put them here. This is my warranty card. This is the whatever, I guess the manual. So my model is the most basic one. So my Rolex watch doesn't have a date. It's just the Oyster Perpetual without date. Extra links, green tag. Okay, watch. It's a Rolex Oyster Perpetual. Comes in white grape. Let me, set my camera up so that it zooms correctly. Fine. I just moved the watch up to my bed. Here is the Rolex dial zoomed in. It's a white grape. Beautiful movement, smooth as silk. If you look closely on say the reheart, I think the thing on top is called the reheart. You can see Rolex. It'll be written. See, if you see, you can see the Rolex, the name Rolex on top of the dial in the reheart. So one way of saying it's a genuine Rolex is if you look at the first letter R of the Rolex, it will match with the, say, your 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and 12 o'clock position. And the X would match with the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, spots. See, if you see here, the X matches with the 1 o'clock. The X matches with the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. If you see on the other side, the letter R matches with the 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, etc., etc. Yeah. So on this side, I have the model number of my Rolex. So I can't show you guys that. But it'll be that. That's another way of knowing that yours is a genuine Rolex. One more thing is there's a crown. There is a laser edge crown. If you look at it at a particular angle, you can see it on top of the 6 o'clock spot for your Rolex. What else? Another cool thing. Can you see the dash under the crown? That says the kind of material that your winding crown is made up of. If you have a dash, it means it's made up of like this yellow gold. So that is another interesting piece of trivia that may be useful for people who plan to buy their watch. The back, absolutely simple and plain. If you have a window, that means you may have one of the old, say, vintage Rolexes, or probably it's a fake. And then you have this nice bracelet with the Rolex crown on it. Okay, so let me wear my watch and tell you how it feels. Fine, so the watch is on my arm. First things first is it feels very comfortable. When I wear it immediately, it just becomes a part of the person who wears it. So that's something that is really cool about the way like Rolex makes its watches. I mean, that's something really noteworthy. So when I bought the watch in the airport, I just wore it immediately. So when I wore it, it kind of just fit into my hand immediately. So there was no time for it to break in and become a part of me. So in that way, I think Rolex really put thought when they make these watches, so they fit into your hand immediately. This is a 36 say millimeter model, so it kind of fits my hand. I think I have a normal arm like most people, so the 36 millimeter works. I think for a guy, say for a male, 36 millimeters is good, but I think people these days go for 39. So the new models that came out are 39. Okay, so hold on a sec. So let me show the specs of the watch. Specs of the watch are available on the website. Hold on. So here is the model of the watch that I got. So the one I got is white grape. The same guy also comes in blue. But if you see the blue, you see the numbers 3, 6 and 9. So these are the Indian say numerals. These are Indian numerals. These are not numbers. So these numbers were made for people from India. So these are actually Indian numerals. People incorrectly, say these numbers came from say Saudi Arabia, which is not true. That has to be corrected. Then if you see it in purple, I think this is called red grape, and then you have stainless steel. So these are the variations of the watch. So only the blue one comes with numbers, which are Indian numerals, and like the remaining ones, they all look the same. Okay, learn more about the watch. I think it'll have the specs. Let me bring up the specs of the watch next. So here is the specs of my white grape. It's 36 millimeter steel. Model number is 11600. It's a domed bezel. It's waterproof. It has the scratch resistance sapphire crystal, which is very useful. I guess this can only be scratched by a diamond ring. So for all you married guys out there, I would say you should be careful with your wife's diamond ring. Something I'll have to keep in mind when I get married. It's got so this oscillator is really cool. It's a parachrome blue, say hairspring. So I guess that's the weight that keeps oscillating. So this is like immune to both magnetism and to temperature. So that's a really cool thing. This one has got 31 joules. I did read about it in another site, so I don't know where that is. It's 904L steel, and all the other good stuff. Cool thing about this watch is, if at a glance it looks like a normal watch, nobody actually gives a damn about it. So in a way, it's good because nobody needs to notice that I'm wearing a Rolex. But the beauty lies inside the mechanism and the 31 joules and everything working to keep accurate time, or mostly accurate time. And it's self-winding. I don't need to wind it. And it's a pure craftsmanship. It is greatness under the guise of simplicity. The watch looks very simple, but it has a lot more going on the inside. And lay people wouldn't notice it, or they wouldn't give it too much attention. That's why I love this watch. Totally understated, but totally worth it. I can mix and match and wear it with anything I like. I totally love this watch. White grape. Very nice. Okay, so I'm very happy with this watch and I'm glad I got it. So there's a big story behind why I got this Rolex. So, I'll be making another video to say, why I got the Rolex, because my dad and I, so actually it was my dad who told me to buy a Rolex. It's a very interesting story. So I will tell that in my next video. It was a 10-year dream actually, from father to son. So I'll tell that story next. And yeah, so I'll also show you the other watches that my grandfather, gave to me. And my father gave his watch to my brother. So the watches have an interesting story, associated with them. And I hope that, my children, when they get to enjoy this watch, they will also remember the story of their father when he, gives it to them. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, I guess I was a lucky guy to get my watch for 3,000 bucks. It should be, say, 5,000 bucks. So yeah, quite happy. I guess all the stars just aligned and worked out for me. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Oh yes, before I go, So I was saying that this watch has 31 joules in it, right? So let me go and check that out. So just hold on a sec.